Well, good morning, everyone, and happy Friday. Welcome to week 7 of Fitness Fridays. It's 7 weeks. Next week will be 2 months. And so if you've been sticking with the program, we've gone through so much. And I had a special request this week to go over carpal tunnel syndrome and things that help affect not only the wrist, but I thought also the forearm. And I want to be able to share one of these with you. And I'll show you, instead of having it on the big screen too, I thought it would be kind of neat to have this in there as well. So it'll help show, at least while I'm talking here. So when we look at carpal tunnel syndrome and things that affect the wrist and the hand, as we see, the nerves go all the way down from the neck, through the shoulder, through the elbow, and then into the wrist, right? You can see that in this kind of picture right here. And then also when we look at the nerve that affects carpal tunnel, it comes down through the elbow. And so that's why it's so important to also flex some of the forearm muscles and then also flex and work on the wrist muscles. So as we're going through this, you're going to see one of my favorite techniques, which is nerve flossing. And that's what this individual is kind of doing right here, stretching out some of these nerves that affect the hand. And I used to have this in school, and it's a cool little hand that helped me work on the nerves that are affected when you have carpal tunnel syndrome. So here's the front of your hand, and all the parts in silver are the ones that are affected when you have carpal syndrome. The other ones could be affected by when you are biking a lot. A lot of bikers have an issue with this nerve getting pinched, and then also on the back here, the radial nerve gets affected when it comes to some of the other grips around the wrist. So the first thing I want to go through is this idea of nerve flossing, right? And so nerve flossing is a type of gentle exercise that stretches the nerves and that can improve their range of motion and reduce pain. This is also called nerve gliding sometimes. And if you're dealing with carpal tunnel, this is the ones I want you to start with. And so I'm going to switch this a little bit around so we can use the wall. But first thing I'm going to have you do is basically, we have our arm that's affected by the carpal tunnel. And all I'm going to have you do is first do about 5 to 10 extensions of the wrist. If you feel like that tingling sensation already, that's all you have to do for the day. But if you don't feel that yet, the next thing I want you to do is then work on going to the wall and doing some of these wrist extensions up on there. Once you can put your hand on the wall and not have any kind of tingling nerve sensation, the next thing I want you to work on is then your head movement. So we kind of stretch the nerve this way. And this is called nerve gliding, nerve flossing. You can imagine now we're trying to stretch and work on this nerve through here each time, right? So if I get really tight forearms, I like to kind of work on this first. This is called nerve gliding. And this is a process, right? So it's going to help flex and kind of move that nerve throughout wherever it is in your neck, through your shoulder, things like that. And next, we'll go through my favorite stretches. And so one, as I'm working out my forearms here, and I could work on a lot of people throughout the day, so my wrists get really tight. People who are constantly using their hands, this is one of the best things to kind of help work on stretching. So first one is we put our wrists down, and we grab our wrist fingers here, and we pull in. I'm going to hold this for about 30 seconds each time, taking a deep breath, and then going a little bit deeper. So that's wrist flexion. Then we go into wrist extension. I like to grab this part of my hands here to get the best benefit, and we pull here same way. And then lastly, the best one is when you have here and then you rotate it out a little bit, and I feel that through not only my wrist but also up into my forearm, right? And then lastly, if you can really get good, you take a table and we put our hands here and we kind of sit through it. This is my best one when I'm feeling like I have really tight forearms. I go here, and I wrist here. You can see I get that full range of motion. Now, when it comes to some of the exercises I want us to go through, my favorite one when it comes to warm-ups is I take my dumbbells and basically go into twist. So I hold here, and a nice warm-up is, this is all wrist training. I'm going back and forth. I'm keeping my elbows tight, and I would do this kind of slow at first, but then basically I want to see how fast I can do this. And I'll do this for about 30 seconds or a high rep of 20 to 30. This is my favorite one. But then also I work on one, bringing them down and up. And then also I open up my hands here like this, and I bring them out and in, right? So basically you want to be able to do all aspects when it comes to wrist mobility, not only stretching. And then for the more advanced ones, what I like is I use my band first. I'm going to lower this for us so we can see. But I take a band and I step on it to have some tension. And what I'll do next is I'll hold it here and I'll go through wrist extension and flexion. Then, as I feel like I build up some resistance, I go here again, I grab my here, I make sure that my arm's tight to my body, and I slowly extend and open it up. And then lastly, for the people that really want to test themselves, I take my band, I take my weight, I kind of wrap it around together, and I hold here, and I work on not only resistance training, but also weight training here. This is kind of more of the advanced one, so unless you're really ready to take it on, and then also go through different ranges. See where that stability needs to happen. But these are the best ones, and as always too, I go out and I'll still do some stretching as I'm working out, really focusing on which way I feel like the muscles in my forearm and my wrist are being tight. So between the nerve gliding, nerve flossing, some of the warm-up stretches that I like to do, and then lastly, working on those wrists, you can really help strengthen your forearms, stretch out the elbows and muscles in the elbows, but also in the wrist as well, and make sure that we're recognizing the nerves start in the neck, and they go all the way down. So a lot of times if you're dealing with carpal tunnel, it may not be an issue here, it could be an issue here, here, or in the neck. So I hope you guys enjoyed that Fitness Friday when it came to some of the wrist and elbow flexibility drills. Next week will be week 8, 2 months, and then once again it'll be patient choice. So we'll see what you guys want me to work on next week, and hope you guys are having a great week. Be gratitude, be grateful for what we have, and as always, stay fit.